वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणम् तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारम् प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। 70th plus
You record.
when you join the class, please mute your mic. In this text, the Tattva Bodha, as the name suggests, Bodha meaning knowledge, Tattva meaning Atma Tattva. So Atma Bodha, that is Atma Tattva, Viveka Vichara is being presented. A simple text which does the analysis based on the Prakriya, the famous Prakriyas which are in the Upanishad, like Avastatraya Prakriya, Shariratraya Prakriya, and Kosha Panchaka Prakriya. In fact, by this only the Atma is defined. We saw Atma Kaha in that definition. That is Atma. To know Atma, we should know what Anatma is not. Rupam, Rasam, Gandham, Shabdam, Sparsham, everything is available for our perception. It is available for our immediate recognition. Pancha Jnanendriyas are there and Pancha Jnanendriya Vishayas are there. So therefore, without any effort, only by letting the Indriyas flow towards essence objects, Paranchikani Vitranat Swayambhu, Parang Pashyati. Indriyas are naturally made to flow towards the Indriya Vishaya and therefore gain knowledge. We don't inquire who is the person gaining knowledge. The Indriyas are operated. Indriyas are operated by a person. But we don't inquire into the person. And we take the Indriya Vishaya to be real and act upon it. That by which all the Indriya Vishayas are known. Who is that? That inquiry is Atma Vichara. In Kathopanishad there is a beautiful mantra. Yena Rupam Rasam Gandham Shabdan Sparshatuscha Maitunan Ete Naiva Vijanati Kimatra Parishishyate Etad Dvaitat. In Kathopanishad, Nachiketa, he asked the Yamadharmaraja, the teacher, Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe asti tyeke nayam asti iti chaike iti. Some people say after the death of the body, the person is gone forever. There is no more that person available. And some people say he continues. What is the truth? That is the question. So, as an answer, he gives the Upadesha. What he asked was, what is Atma? That is what he asked. So, while giving the Atma Upadesha to Nachiketa, Yamadharmaraja says, Yena Rupam Rasam Gandham Sparshagushcha Maituna iti. That is that by which one recognizes, one knows Rupam, Rasam, Gandham, Sparsham, one knows color, one knows the taste, the rasa, Gandha, the smell, Shabda, then the sound, then touch, Sparsha, Maitunan, also all the pleasures. That by which one knows, that is Atma. If that Atma is known, what else to be known? Nothing else to be known. So therefore it is Atma. In the presence of the Atma, everything is known. So everything comes to light, everything comes to the appreciation of one's recognition because of Atma. And how Atma is recognized? Atma is always, it is to be recognized as Agam Agam Iti. It is there, without which there is no perception. That is not an object of perception. Because it is considered to be another object of perception, therefore only the vichara, the viveka is required. And which state Atma is? It is in all the three states of experience. In fact, it is because of Atma, the Swapna Avastha, Jagrata Avastha, this Avastha, the objects of these Avasthas are known. Swapnantam Jagaritantam Chobho Yena Nupashyati. Same Kathopanishad says Swapnantam Jagaritantam. Ubhav, these two, the objects of Swapna Avastha, the objects of Jagrat Avastha, that is Swapna Prapancha and Jagrat Prapancha, both are perceived by Atma alone. In the presence of Atma alone, both are perceived. So, the Atma is there. Atma is there in all the avastha, therefore not confined to any particular avastha. Therefore, Atma is not any of the object or any of the avastha cannot be confined to any of the avastha. It is not one of the object. So that has to be very clearly be understood. The problem what we have is what our mistake. What our mistake is, we take the Atma to be one with the instrument of our regular operation. We forget that mind is an instrument. The sense organs are an instrument. We identify ourselves with this body, that is also an instrument. Body, mind, the sense organs, identifying with them, the Abhimana is so strong, therefore we take the instrument to be the Atma. In fact, the Shariram, which consists of this, all the Indriyas, the mind, etc., it operates. Shariram as a whole, as an integral whole, it operates in the presence of the Atma. Shariram is Jadam. How can this Jadam can sustain itself without Chaitanyam, without this Chaitanya Tattvam? Shariram being Jadam doesn't have Chaitanyatvam on its own. Atma is Chaitanyam. There is no Jadatvam in Atma. Then who is having this Abhimana in between? Abhimana like I am fat, I am tall, I am angry, I feel hungry, all kinds of this Abhimana, the perception, who is having? It is not for Atma. It cannot be for Anatma. Anatma cannot say I am hungry. I am angry also. Anatma cannot say. Mind cannot say I am angry, because mind is also Jadam only. Like Shariram, mind is also a Jadam only. So therefore only we say this Abhimana is a problem because of the samsara. This Abhimana is because of this Anyonya Adhyasa, mutual superimposition of the attributes of Atma over Anatma and Anatma over Atma. So there is a mix-up. Not real mix-up. Mix-up only in our mind. Mix-up only in our thoughts. Mix-up only notionally. That is the cause. That is the cause for all the problems of samsara. Therefore, like a Anna Pakshi, how it separates. Annapakshi is a mythological bird. How it separates milk from the water. Similarly, this Viveka. Similarly, the sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha adhikaraha, he has to use Viveka to understand clearly who am I, what is Atma, and what is Anatma. To understand Atma, we have to drop the possible notional misunderstandings with regard to the Atma identifying with Anatma. Therefore, only this vichara is important. The same vichara, it is done very elaborately in the Upanishads. Here it is presented in a simple way, and all the technical definitions are seen. And this Panchakosha Prakriya, as I keep on saying this, are important in the Prakriya. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, in the Bhrigavalli, this Panchakosha Prakriya is elaborately handled by the Upanishad. All these Prakarana Grantha, they deal with the Prakriya of the Upanishads. Some Prakarana Grantha, they deal with a particular Prakriya. Taking a particular Prakriya, they deal with that elaborately. The author of the Prakarana Grantha presents it very elaborately. This is a Tattvabodha is a Prakarana Grantha where it is the definition. The definition is given and then not elaborated much, not much discussion. Just say it is Anatma. The basis is from the Upanishad. This Panchakosha Prakriya, as I said, in the Bhrigavalli, there is a Samvada. There is a Guru Shishya Samvada. The Shishya is Bhrigu. He approaches his father. Bhrigurvai Varunihi Varunam Pitaramupasasara Adiki Bhavo Brahmeti. He approaches his father Bhrigu and asks for this knowledge of Brahma. Then the Bhrigu, he says, Annam pranam chakshushrotram manovachamiti tahumhovacha. Simply says, Annam is food, pranam, prana, chakshuhu, eyes, shrotram, ears, manaha, mind, vacham, speech. All these are the means by which the Brahma, that is Brahma, Atma is known. Only that much he says. And he says that from this Brahma alone, everything has come into being. So may you have the commitment. May you have the commitment and the desire to know. Therefore, you do tapas. You do tapas. Tad vijignyasasva tad brahmeti satapo tapyata satapas tattva iti. You do tapas. Tapas means vichara. You do vichara. The teacher, having said this, asked the disciple to do vichara. That is his homework. The homework of the student to do vichara. Now the teacher has said this annam pranam chakshushrotram mano vachamiti. Now the student, his son, he does vichara. He does Then Bhrigu, his son, he did vichara, and he concluded that Annam is Brahma. Annam Brahmete Vijanat. Vijanat, Vijnatavan, he understood. That is, he did vichara, he did tapas, that is vichara, and understood that Annam is Brahma. Annadhyeva kalmivani bhutani jahyante. We also saw the same definition. Annamayaha kaha annarasenaiva bhutva annarasenaiva vriddhim prapya annarupa pruthivyam eti viliyate. Tata annamaya koshaha we saw. Tata annamaya koshaha. Here Bhrigu, he understood that that is Brahma. So from Annam everything has come into being, everything resolves finally into Annam. So therefore he understood Annam to be Brahma, and in the beginning understood not Annam to be Brahma. Then he himself had a doubt. How can Annam be Brahma? Annam is Jadam. How can that be Brahma? Therefore he had a doubt. Again he went to his father. Again going back to the father, he asked, Varunam Pitaram Upasasara Adhiki Bhagavo Brahmeti. He asked again, please teach me Brahma. Again the father says, Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva Tapo Brahmeti iti. Do tapas, do vichara. Do vichara and you understand what Brahma is. Again he does tapas and he understands Prana is Brahma. Prano Brahmeti Vijanat. But is not happy with that also. How can Prana be Brahma? Because he does vichara. He does vichara and understands Prana cannot be Brahma. How can Prana be Brahma? So, therefore, anything which is objectifiable, Prana is available for your objectification. Prana is objectifiable. So the body is sustained by prana, and without prana, body dies. Without prana, body dies. So therefore, how can this prana? This prana is important, but prana is not Brahma. Prana is important for the shariram to sustain. Prana is important. Prana is not Brahma. But why he understood prana to be Brahma? Because prana is there in all states of experience. In no states of experience, it is not that prana is not there. If prana is not there, means the person is dead. So prana is all the states, it is there. This annam is sustained by prana. So annam cannot be Brahma. Therefore prana could be Brahma, but prana also cannot be Brahma. If prana is Brahma, if prana alone is Brahma, but prana alone, it doesn't give this chetanatvam, the chaitanyatvam to the shariram. So prana is required for sustaining the body, but it cannot be Brahma. So therefore, prana is not Brahma. So similarly, manomaya, then he thought mind could be Brahma. Going from sukshma, from grosser to sukshma, that is the vichara, that is the inquiry. That is how the student has to be trained. And Shastram helps by giving the prakriya, the method, the inquiring into each. So negating, at every point it's negating. Annam cannot be Brahma, Pranam cannot be Brahma. Then you can see Annam is Stula, Prana is Sukshma, still Sukshma, Manaha. Can Mano be Brahma? Yes, he understands Mano Brahmeti Vijanat. Manasa Hevas Kalvimani Bhutani Jayante. Manasa Chatani Jivanti. Iti, he understands mind to be Brahma, but he is not satisfied. He understands, he concludes, and then not satisfied. Therefore, again, he goes back to the teacher. He does analysis, then he comes to a conclusion, not satisfying with the conclusion, again he goes back to his father and asks, teach me Brahma again. Every time he goes back and teach me Brahma again. His father is also happy because his son is doing vichara. Mind cannot be Brahma because mind is not present in all the states. In Sushupti Avastha, mind is not there. Mind is not the mind, it is not that it is destroyed. Yes, it is not operative. So therefore mind cannot be Brahma. Then Vijnanam Brahmeti Vishanat. You understand that Vijnanamaya Kosha, that is what we are going to discuss. Can Vijnanamaya be Brahma? Can Anandamaya be Brahma? What are those Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya? For that we should know. We should know what is Vijnanamaya Kosha, what is Anandamaya Kosha. That is what we are going to discuss. So, to understand what is discussed in the Upanishads, Upanishads are required, the knowledge of the Upanishads are required to study Brahma Sutra. To study Brahma Sutra, Upanishads are required. To study Upanishads, the Prakarana Granthas are required. And for basic definition, Tattvabodha is important. That is the order. So, Vijnanam Brahmeti Vijana Taittiriya Upanishad says, what is that Vijnana? So for that we should have the knowledge of definitions. That is why Tattvabodha is. So you can see the connection. You can see the connection why Tattvabodha is important, being the basic text, why it is important. The same Tattvabodha, when it is stretched further, it is Vedanta Sara. When it is stretched further, it is Vedanta, it is Viveka Chudamani, or further advanced Vedanta Paribhasha. You can keep elaborating on each topic. More and more you can elaborate. Therefore, there is no end to the elaboration. So now, this Panchakosha Prakriya, I say, since it is handled by the Taittiriya Upanishad, the famous Panchakosha Prakriya, therefore, this Prakriya, what we are discussing, is very important. So in that, we are seeing the definition of each kosha. The definition, the knowledge of the definitions are required to understand the words which are used by the Upanishad, and also to understand that they are anatma. Anatmatvat, acetanatvat. Therefore, that abhimanam towards that also, that to be reduced, gradually reduced. That gradual reduction happens only when this jnanam happens, when the drida jnanam happens, then this abhimanam with this anatma reduces. We have abhimana with so many things. We have abhimana without those abhimana, minus those abhimanas. In fact, we cannot live in the world. As a samsari, we cannot live. As a jnani, we can live. That is a different thing. But as a samsari, without this abhimana, we cannot live. And that abhimanam is a cause for samsara also. So therefore, if we want moksha, that nature of that abhimanam has to be understood. So when it is understood, then you will have the know-how of how to handle the samsara. The samsara it will not be the source of the dukkam. Samsara, you will accept the samsara as it is, without coloring it as a dukkam or sukham. It is neither sukham or dukkam. Again, it is your notion, your label. You label your relations. You label your your possessions. You label your the possessions in the form of your the name or the wealth, the relations, the status. So all these things either becomes a source of sukham, this become a source of dukkam only when we have drida abhimana. When the abhimana towards that it is nullified by the understanding that aham atma, that is my nature, then these things being there or not being there will not create any problem. Therefore, living in the world at the same time free from the world, that is what is Jivan Mukti. That is what is being free. So the knowledge of the Atma alone can make a person free, can make a person released from samsara, means it will not remove him from the world. He will continue to be in the world, but there's a difference before and after. Now in the world it lives with the understanding not touched by either sukham or dukkam. That is not elated by sukham, not depressed by dukkam. Whatever it comes, it looks at it very objectively and moves on because he is untouched. Being Atma is untouched by anything. So that is the lakshana. That is the lakshana of a Siddha Prajna, what we saw in Bhagavad Gita. So therefore only we do this the vichara. So all the way we have to understand it is the Atma, Anatma, Viveka, Vichara is being done. So therefore, we need to understand these terms. Terms are very important. The words are important. You can please repeat. Panchakoshaha ke
पंचकोशाः के
अन्नमयः प्राणमयः
अन्नमयः प्राणमयः
मनोमयः विज्ञानमयः
मनोमयः विज्ञानमयः
आनन्दमयश्चेति
आनन्दमयश्चेति
अन्नमयः कः
अन्नमयः
अन्नरसेनैव भूत्वा
अन्नरसेनैव भूत्वा
अन्नरसेनैव वृद्धिं प्राप्य
अन्नरसेनैव वृद्धिं प्राप्य
अन्नरूपपृथिव्यां यत् विलीयते तत् अन्नमयः कोशः
अन्नरूपपृथिव्यां यद् विलीयते तद् अन्नमयः कोशः
स्थूलशरीरम्
स्थूलशरीरम्
प्राणमयः कः
प्राणमयः कः
प्राणाद्याः पञ्चवायवः
प्राणाद्याः पञ्चवायवः
वागादीन्द्रियपञ्चकम्
वागादीन्द्रियपञ्चकम्
प्राणमयः कोशः
प्राणमयः कोशः
मनोमयः कः
मनोमयः कः
मनश्च ज्ञानेन्द्रियपञ्चकं मिलित्वा
मनश्च ज्ञानेन्द्रियपञ्चकं मिलित्वा
मिलित्वा
यो भवति स मनोमयः कोशः
यो
यो भवति स
मनोमयकोशः
मनोमयकोशः
विज्ञानमयः खः
विज्ञानमयः
ज्ञानमयः
बुद्धिः ज्ञानेन्द्रियपञ्चकं मिलित्वा
बुद्धिः ज्ञानेन्द्रियपञ्चकं मिलित्वा
मिलित्वा
यो भवति स विज्ञानमयः कोशः
यो
यो
भवति
भवति
स
स
विज्ञानमयकोशः
विज्ञानमयकोशः.
So the three koshas we have seen: Annamaya kosha, Pranamaya, and Manomaya. Now Vijnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, what we have been discussing in the last class. We'll continue. So Vijnanamaya kaha. What is Vijnanamaya? This layer of personality called Vijnanamaya. Vijnanam is intellect. So the intellectual, the layer of personality which stands for the intellect. What is that? That is grouping the buddhi, the intellect, along with the pancha jnanendriya. That constitute Vijnanamaya Koshaha. The buddhi and mind, they are not different, they are the same. We know, they are called by the name Antakaranam. Antakaranam means the inner instrument. The mind, the Antakaranam playing the role of the mind. It entertains different emotions, different thoughts which are brought in based on the objects, these Indriya Vishaya brought in by the sense organs of perception. Therefore, buddhi does the analysis, or it just entertains the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, all types. This is what the mind does. This is what the mind does. Now, buddhi is Nishchayatmika Antakarana Vrittihi. That is called buddhi. Chanchalatmaka Antakarana Vritti is mind. That is why entertaining the thoughts based on the inputs, the data given by the Indriya, the organs of perception, Jnanendriya. That is mind. Buddhi is the same Antakaranam when it is in the form of taking the firm decision or determination. Then it becomes, the Antakaranam becomes Buddhi. So, Buddhi represents the faculty of decision. Buddhi represents the faculty of decision. Buddhi. The Buddhi also backed up by the Jnanendriyas, they constitute Vijnanamaya Koshaha. And the Buddhi represents this Jnanam. Buddhi represents the Jnanam. Therefore, the Tri Shakti, which we talked about, Tri Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Icha Shakti, and Jnana Shakti, the Vijnanamaya Kosha stands for the Jnana Shakti, because Buddhi represents Jnana Shakti. Therefore, Buddhi, along with the 5 organs of perception, they constitute Vijnanamaya Kosha. Therefore, Vijnanamaya Kosha represents Jnana Shakti. So, therefore, this Jnanendriya Panchakam along with the Buddhi, they constitute the intellectual layer of the knowledge layer of the person, the knowledge layer of the person. So buddhi stands for knowledge. Knowledge means any knowledge. Any knowledge takes place in the buddhi. For knowledge to take place in the buddhi, we know that the sense organs have to bring in sense objects, the knowledge of the sense objects. Then the firm knowledge of these sense objects takes place in the buddhi. When it is in the processing stage, it is called mind. When the knowledge takes place decisively, firm knowledge takes place, then it is called the buddhi. Therefore, whether it is mind or buddhi, functioning of both depends on the data, the input of the sense organs. Therefore, buddhi is nischayatmika antakrana vrittihi buddhihi. Now, this buddhi layer, this Vijnanamaya Kosha, within this Vijnanamaya Kosha, even the kartrutvam, the doership is also included. I do this, I don't do this. Doing or not doing. By whom? By you, by I. That doership, that kartrutvam, that is included in this Vijnanamaya Kosha. So, deciding, knowing, doing, doership, all these are connected to the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And this is called a Kosha because we commit the mistake like in the form of I know very well, or I do this, I know, I don't know, both positive as well as negative. When you say I know for sure, I don't know for sure, that is also conclusively